A capacity crowd on hand at Riverfront. And we sincerely hope you'll enjoy the night of NFL football right here on TNT. Here we go. A low line drive. Ball fields at the 2. Cannot reach the 20-yard line. Eric Fairs, a reserve linebacker, makes the stop at about the 17, and that's where things will start for Boomer Esiason. He's trying to shake off a rough outing last week.
Well, the 3 interceptions, but one of them actually, Denver had 12 men on the field. It was not called back, but it should have been.
James Brooks, the sole running back, and he gets the ball. To the 25 before he's run out of bounds. Lamar Latham was there to knock him out of bounds, and somebody on the sideline got a jolt there and can't get up. Not a player, a civilian.
You know, Skip, the thing about James Brooks, and it's one of the security people, he is going to make the first guy miss. He's either going to make him miss him with a move or he'll run over you.
Second on, Esiason. Quick look, Brooks, what a hit. Rather not, Eddie Brown made the reception, and he was absolutely buried by Richard Johnson.
Richard Johnson, the right corner for the Oilers, has the unique ability of playing back in a zone. He's not a bump and run guy. He'll play back in a zone, read patterns, and then drive on the ball like he did there.
They get the first down, but what a price to pay for it. McGee and Brown wide left. The give inside Brooks across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Lamar Latham again involved in the hit, but not until the Bengals move the chains one more time. 12-yard pickup.
When the Bengals, as we said at the top of this broadcast, run the ball well, they generally win. They've been one of the top rushing teams in the NFL the past 5 years, and that is the key tonight. James Brooks running the ball.
A no-huddle look once again. Esiason to throw. On the sideline, it's complete to Reggie Rembert. He's up near midfield. Rembert out of West Virginia.
Skip,
Bubba McDowell on the stop.
That was a 5-wide receiver set for the Bengals, and they stay in it. This is their cheetah set. A lot of speed. Rembert lines up as the sole back. With 5 wide receivers in the game, their entire receiving corps.
So they throw an early surprise at the Oilers. Rembert in motion again. Esiason overthrows, not almost intercepted. Richard Johnson on the coverage, almost a disaster. Now Brooks and Holman come back into the game. Rembert among those going out as you look at the lineup.
Well, you mentioned Rodney Holm, one of the most versatile tight ends in all of football, quite honestly. He can do a lot of things for them. The offensive line, Anthony Munoz still remains the paradigm of tackles at left tackle. Bruce Kaczynski hurt at center, injured but playing.
Third and long. Brooks. First down and more. Inside the 45, down to the 43. Bubba McDowell, Bo Orlando there on the stop.
Watch the left side of this offensive line. We've said Munoz and Holman, number 82, the tight end. First, Holman on the defensive lineman, Lee Williams, does a great job. Munoz comes in and picks up Latham. But that's a lot of people, a lot of men on the left side, a lot of body to clear a hole for a running back.
Eddie Brown splits wide right, Tim McGee wide left. Here's Brooks again. 29-yard line. They're running right through him. Chris Dishman on the stop.
Well, did you see James Brooks, who's hurt? I think James Brooks is hurt because he really threw his shoulder into Chris Dishman, and he may have just have injured his shoulder, quite honestly.
Harold Green replaces him in the lineup. He's out of South Carolina. Much bigger, different kind of back. 222-pounder. First and 10. 12:05 left in the first quarter. Brown and McGee again wide left. Eric Ball joins Green in the backfield.
been made this last week about John Elway calling his plays. But really, as you watch and listen to Boomer Esiason, he is calling their plays. He gets signaled in the formation, and then after that, it's all up to Boomer.
Brooks back in the game. He's the sole setback. Cincinnati 5 carries, 49 yards running the ball in the early going. Brooks. Out of bounds, close to the 16-yard line. Chris Dishman ran him out.
Well, this defense, although they're getting run on here tonight, they played very well last week against the Raiders. The trade for Lee Smith at left end makes a big difference. Lathan, Smith, and Meads. Al Smith should make most of the tackles at middle linebacker. Bubba McDowell, I think, at strong safety, one of the underrated players in the NFL.
Brooks still the lone setback. 10:45 left in the quarter. A very impressive drive. First and 10 for the Bengals. Brooks again. Beats one man. Is knocked down. There's Smith making the stop at about the 14-yard line.
A terrific field block by Anthony Munoz there led the way for James Brooks. I mean, they do a lot of zone blocking. There's not a lot of man-for-man blocking, but watch their left side, 78. He just sees the linebacker step in the hole, and then he goes and attacks Lathan and clears the way for James Brooks. A nice feel for the game by Anthony Munoz.
Bruce Kozerski comes limping off the field. That's bad news. Ken Moyer takes his place. Moyer out of Toledo, a free agent.
And new center, you always worry about a fumbled snap with a new center in.
2nd and 6 the situation. Again, Brooks the setback. Play action. Esiason has a man. Holman. He fumbles it into the end zone. And Dishman has it. Let's see what they call.
I think it's got to be a touchback. He didn't cross the plane. It's got to be a touchback.
Chris Dishman comes up with a big recovery.
The ruling is touchback. 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line.
1st and 10 at the 20 for Houston. And that great drive comes up dry.
You know, Jack Pardee was saying what he wanted out of his defensive backs this season was a lot more aggressive physical play. And that's what you got out of Chris Dishman. He knew that he was going to get run over by Holman, so he did the smart thing. He just stripped the ball.
Did he have control, though? If he makes a great play, knocks the ball loose first.
Yeah, he's got a catch. That's a control.
Watch it again. I'm not so sure, Pat.
That Holman caught the ball?
No, I mean right here. Did he have control before he went out?
But even if it goes out of the end zone, it's a touchback.
That's the call. The crowd doesn't like it. Warren Moon goes to work. And he goes long early and overthrows his man. His nothing. Maybe a yard. Fromrye got there first.
There are the backs and receivers. Alan Pinkett with 144 yards rushing last week. It was a sensational day for Pinkett with the 4 wide receivers in the run and shoot. They'll have one-on-one matchups all evening. Matthews moves from right guard to center. John Flannery got his first start last week against Howie Long and played very well.
3rd and 9 the situation. Jeffries wide left. In fact, it's trips left. Jeffries, Gibbons, and Drew Hill all split to the left. Again, they go long the other way for Duncan and overthrew it. So 3 and out for Houston. Mitchell Price was with him.
You're right, Skip. Mitchell Price, number 32. 3 plays, 2 of them they tried to go deep on Mitchell Price. So early in the game, what do we know? Mitchell Price has won the first 2 battles against Curtis Duncan. But that's what it's going to be like all evening long. One-on-one. It's like one-on-one basketball, really.
Greg Montgomery, newly signed or re-signed, will kick it away, and the aforementioned Mitchell Price stands at his 33-yard line. Lousy kick. Terrible kick. It bounces out of bounds at the 47-yard line. So Cincinnati's in business. A 33-yard punt. They'll have the ball at the 47-yard line, and we'll be. There's the story of the game. The Bengals have dominated, but have nothing to show for it.
Now, Sam Weish, very simple run plan tonight. They really have 3 or 4 runs. And he said yesterday, hey, if we're going to be successful tonight, we want to run James Brooks and behind Anthony Munoz. This is their sideline huddle that the Bengals have used the last couple of years.
They lead the league in gimmicks, don't they? I don't mean that unkindly, but they are.
Well, you know, you have to wonder sometimes whether the gimmicks really, there's so much going on, they aren't as effective executing as perhaps as well as they should.
Last week, Cincinnati rushed for 53 yards. Tonight, they have 56 already. Eric Ball is the lone setback. Brown wide right, McGee left. This is Ball, and he lunges across midfield. Al Smith among those and on the stop.
This offensive line has done a marvelous job thus far in the first quarter. What they're doing is just recreating a line of scrimmage 3 or 4 yards down the field. They give the ball to either Brooks or Eric Ball, and they just let him pick a hole.
2nd and 5. Esiason rolls left. He looks. Goes for all of it. Incomplete. Flag.
But that's a great play by the DB. That's a great play causing the pass interference. Because at the top of the screen, Richard Johnson's going to get beaten for a touchdown on the old out and up. He knows he's beaten, he tackles him. He knows he's going to get the pass interference, but that is a heads-up play by Richard Johnson.
Cincinnati continues to roll. Their opening drive, 11 plays, 80 yards, took 5:21. They got nothing out of it because of the fumble.
You know, Krzyzewski tried to come in. Now he's coming off the field again. But we talked about Cincinnati.
Holding, number 23, defense, before the pass, 5-yard penalty to the
great
previous
play.
slot. First down.
Even a better play. You look at Cincinnati tonight, Skip, and you wonder, you know, this is this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde team. What team is going to show up? They played miserably last week. They're playing beautifully tonight, and that was their story last year as well.
Esiason to throw. 1st and 10 from the 44. Eric Pettis shifts left. 2 tight ends in the game. Brooks back in there. Esiason is rushed. He throws, and it's incomplete. William Fuller applied the pressure and made him unloaded early.
William Fuller has always been a good pass rusher. This in his 6th year, William Fuller is. What he is doing a better job of this year, and he has through training camp, is being very strong at the point of attack. With some of the trades and people that the Oilers have brought in the defensive line, they've got a formidable defensive line and a lot of depth.
Ball joins Brooks in the backfield. 2nd and 10 from the 44. Brooks. Boy, is he hit and ridden to the ground. Good coverage by Marcus Robertson, a rookie out of Iowa State, a 4th-round draft choice.
A lot of in-your-face.
These two teams aren't real fond of one another anyway, are they?
No, there's a lot written, and particularly in Houston, about their dislike and, as they called it, hatred of the Cincinnati Bengals. They felt the Bengals have run the score up on them a few times, and certainly when Jerry Glanville was here, Weish did that one game. He scored over 60 points on him.
McGee wide to the left. 3rd down, 12 yards to go. Defensive play at the last moment. It was intended for Holman. Bubba McDowell made a splendid play.
You know, we were just 2 flags down, though, but probably a holding call. But we're talking about Bubba McDowell being an underrated player.
Holding, number 73, offense, penalty is declined, 4th down.
That's Ken Moyer, who was called for the hold. He's the guy that came in for Krzyzewski. The penalty is, of course, declined, and now Cincinnati will kick it away. Here it is again.
Yeah, Bo McDowell did a great job of getting his head turned around right at the last moment and knocking the ball away. But strong safety is one of those unappreciated positions. I mean, if you were faster, you'd play corner. If you were stronger, you play linebacker. But Bo McDowell plays strong safety as well as anybody.
Lee Johnson will kick it to Curtis Duncan, who's running back the punts tonight, as Pat Coleman is ineligible for the game. One of the 2 Oilers in that department. High booming kick. Duncan calls for a fair catch on the run and makes a diving catch at around the 18-yard line. So Houston will have the ball once more. It's still a scoreless game, though the Bengals have dominated. Back after a word from your local sponsor.
How they've played them the last couple of years, but again, what Warren Moon wants to do is match up on those nickel backs, particularly Price and Billups, number 24 and number 32.
Houston was 3 downs and out. Pickett finally ridden out of bounds, close to the first down marker.
Well, it is the 4-man defensive front. Tagovailoa and Mitz. Mitz just came into camp 2 weeks ago, who are good pass rushers on the outside. James Francis is the only linebacker. Then Fulcher, Dixon, Jones, and Thomas are the regular defensive backs, but they're also using Billups and Price, their backup cornerbacks, in the starting role tonight. And they'll play all of the field every down and run with these receivers man for man.
Ricky Dixon made that last defensive play, but a first down for the Oilers. Gibbons in motion. Gibbons fumbled away, a gain of about 4 yards. Lewis Billups was on the coverage, but he simply dropped that ball, and Moon is 0 for 3.
You know, what you want to do in football is get as many people who can do something with the ball in open areas as you like and as you can. And people, what they like about the run and shoot is how many open spaces there are. It creates by formation a lot of areas to get little receivers in those areas that they can do something with after the ball. And for proponents of the run and shoot, that's what they like.
Haywood Jeffries wide left. Gibbons in motion. He catches this one, but he got nothing. Billups again on the coverage.
Well, we talked about a very simple game plan. Can Billups and Price and Rod Jones and Eric Thomas, the defensive backs for Cincinnati, play one-on-one football? Dick LeBeau, the defensive coordinator, that's the question. So far, Cincinnati defensive backs have won all the battles.
Possession play, a pickup of 3 there. It's 3rd and 7 at the 31. 5:55 left in the quarter. Trips left. Looks like Tony Jones split right. On to throw. Gibbons, but I don't think he got the first down. Billups, of course, again on the stop.
There is some hitting going down there between defensive backs and receivers. And Lewis Billups won 2 matchups in a row.
Mitchell Price will run back the Greg Montgomery kick, or at least will try to, with 5:18 left first quarter. We're still scoreless, which is a bit of a surprise. Again, not a real good kick. And it takes a Cincinnati bounce. Now rolls down to about the 22. The ball comes loose. Let's see who's got it. Boy.
I don't know what was going on there, but there's no way.
Cincinnati gets the ball. That's the important thing, but I don't know what Price was doing.
First down. Timeout.
We'll be back right after this.
A little confused because it hits an Oiler. And once it hits the Oiler, I think it's Eugene Seal, the ball is dead right there. But I thought he got, and then it hits another Oiler there. The ball was dead as soon as it hit Eugene Seal.
Lynn James checks into the game. He's wide left. The quick throw is the other way. And very little, if anything, is gained on that one.
Bob McElwee has had the yellow flag out a lot today in penalty against the Bengals. 78's not set. You heard it, but you know, Skip, I think this is a difficult game for an officiating crew to do. You've got the run and shoot on one hand.
Illegal motion, number 78, offense, 5 yards, still first down.
Far right of the screen is number 78. He doesn't have to get down in his stance, but he has to be set for a second before the ball is snapped. He was moving around.
I'm going to ask you a question about those officials. They review their last week's work rather than looking at the game films of the team they're playing next.
I think you ought to do both. You ought to do both.
Yeah. Inside. He's covered at about the 24-yard line.
You know, just following up, Skip, just thinking about this particular type of game where you have a situation where the Bengals are so unusual offensively. You'd think you'd want to watch a can of film or two to see what to expect.
Initiated the contact, but he's claiming that somebody jumped on the right side of the line.
It looked like Holman.
Brown in motion. Flags fly yet again at the 40-yard line. Bubba McDowell made the stop.
Did you see James Brooks step on Bubba McDowell there? I mean, there is some bad blood out there between James Brooks and some of the defensive backs.
Another penalty against Houston. A much penalized team, by the way.
James Brooks, number 21, although he's a halfback, they'll set him out as a wide receiver. He's a very versatile player. But watch at the end of the play, after he gets tackled, how he's going to get up and step all over number 25, Bubba McDowell.
Holding, number 28, defense, prior to the pass. That penalty is declined.
Penalty declined and a first down for Cincinnati. Dishman was called. Brooks, not much, perhaps 2 yards. Al Smith in on the stop. He's a good one out of Utah State.
Al Smith, a middle linebacker in their 4-3 set, should make most of the tackles. And Al Smith has done that for them. They feel very comfortable at middle linebacker.
Had 101 tackles last year. Ball and Brooks in the backfield. Yet again, flags fly all over the place. This is not a pretty sight, to be honest with you.
For the second game of the regular season, this shouldn't be happening, although we do have a new center in there, Paul Jatan.
Ball start. Offensive right guard before the snap. 5 yards.
2:46 remaining in the first quarter. Lynn James checks in. Brooks out for Cincinnati.
You know, Bruce Kozerski, I misspoke, is back at center. Came off with a shoulder, then a pulled calf muscle, but he's back at center.
Brown in motion. Sack time. Down goes the Science, and Lee Williams got it. A loss of 10. It's 3rd and 22. On a Texas A&M.
Well, you know, the surprising call it looked like some sort of checkoff by Boomer Esiason, but it's 3rd and 22. You're clearly not going to get the first down with that kind of call. The issue was, hey, maybe we're trying to pick up 8 or 10 yards to add to our punt, but a strange call on 3rd and 22.
Lee Johnson will kick it away. Curtis Duncan will try to return it with 1:20 left in the quarter. They're coming. He just did get it out of there. Duncan's fair catch. He's bumped into, makes the catch, and no whistle.
I don't know why that isn't a penalty, quite honestly.
Lynn James looked like it was inadvertent, but he did get it. We'll be back after this word from your local sponsors.
Cowan.
He works against Rod Jones. Leonard Harris in the game as well. Pinkett. Good cut. To the 41-yard line. Tim Crumry in on the stop.
You know, Alan Pinkett with 144 yards last week, and great balance out of this Houston team. They ran 36 times. They passed 36 times. And that was really the difference. But he said yesterday, hey, I can't relax. I'm not celebrating. I've got Lorenzo White, who's just signed. He's coming into camp next week. I've got to go out, and this is a much bigger test for me because I have to block a lot more tonight.
Again, it's Jones wide to the left. Again, Pinkett, not much there, but he's close to the first down, maybe a little bit short. David Grant out of West Virginia made the stop.
Well, you know, it's interesting, the change in offensive philosophy right here on this drive by Houston. They came out in their first couple of drives, Skip, and tried to get the matchups they liked. They thought their receivers could beat their defensive backs. They didn't win those matchups. So now they're trying to come back and get something running the football.
They won't get it in this quarter, but they have to feel good. They've lost their last 4 games here by an average of 31 points, and they are scoreless at the end of one here, and they have the football.
That offense, 4 wide receivers. They run on every situation, goal line, short yardage.
He's close. I think he got it. Now everybody out there wants to signal one direction or another.
Everybody becomes a referee, you know.
McElway will sort it out. By the way, Houston, over the last 10 years, has the worst AFC road record of any team, 18-58, second only to Tampa overall in the NFL.
You know, you raise an interesting point. And Warren Moon was saying, hey, if we're going to go to the Super Bowl, this has got to be the year. This is the best chance that I'm going to have to go to the Super Bowl because the age of our team, if we don't get it done, they're going to break this team up. That's what he said 2 weeks ago to us. But if they're going to do that, they can't get into the playoffs as a wild card team. They're going to have to outright win the AFC Central, and to do that, they're going to have to win on the road, Skip. There's just no way, two ways about it.
As you saw, it is a first down. Tony Jones still in the game there, wide left. Eventually, they're going to throw long to him. I would guess Leonard Harris in motion. Jones and out of bounds right at midfield. Or was it Leonard Harris? My mistake. Leonard Harris was the receiver.
You were talking about how poorly Houston has played here. That's what's happened the last 4 times. Houston Oilers have come in here to Riverfront Stadium, and also that's part of the reason you see the score 61 there in 89 in particular. That still bothers a lot of the Oiler players. That's why they've been so heated this week. Although Jerry Glanville was the head coach and not Jack Pardee in those.
That's the guy who was running the score up against, not the players.
That's exactly right. But the players still remember it.
Oh, of course they do. No blame them. Duncan wide to the right. Jones to the left. Harris in motion. 2nd and 5. Moon has time. He throws. Incomplete. He threw it too long. It was intended for Harris. And a 3rd and 5 situation. You know,
remember when you used to play sandlot football in the front yard? You know, you have a guy, you'd say, hey, you know, you go deep, and you go take the out route, you take the hook route. Well, it's kind of what Houston is doing tonight. They've got 4 guys, and they're saying, hey, you're one-on-one with those defensive backs. Go out and beat them. But so far, the Cincinnati defensive backs have been equal to the challenge.
Moon 3 out of 7 for just 14 yards.
Did you ever get asked to go deep as a kid?
Not often, Pat. Not often. Possession play. Bingo. First down. 38-yard line. Eric Thomas made the stop. Leonard Harris made the reception. Seeing a lot of Harris tonight, a 6-year man out of Texas Tech, had 1 catch last week for 29 yards.
And what they're hoping from Harris from this season, is that he can have one of those breakthrough years, because this guy has a tremendous burst, much like Drew Hill does.
For the first time tonight, the Oilers are in Bengal territory. At the 37. Pinkett. Fulcher gets it. Eric Thomas helped out, but Fulcher made the play.
David Fulcher was saying yesterday, number 33, that I'm going to play what this position they call little backer. He says, I have to stop the run. That's my responsibility. I'm taking on Alan Pinkett virtually by myself. Here he just forces him to the outside and makes a nice play after just a 2-yard gain. You know, what Fulcher was concerned about, really, with the rest of his defensive secondary, was the recovery time. He said all these wide receivers are used to run around 100 miles an hour. Our guys are chasing them. They have backups. We don't.
Tony Jones wide left. 2nd and 8. Moon is in trouble. He dances inside the 30, but he's short of the first down. Fulcher again involved in the stop.
You see Warren Moon scrambling around, and he means so much to this team. And remember, this was the stadium in week 15 a year ago where he broke his thumb on one of the Bengals helmets. But, you know, for a big guy, and he's 6'3", 215 or 17 pounds, Warren is, he can still move. He can move the puppies.
This is also a stadium where the AstroTurf or whatever it is not too good.
It's terrible. Because it's used for a baseball field, too. They're the worst.
3rd and 2. Gibbons with a completion at the 15-yard line. On the coverage, Lewis Phillips.
And pretty good college coverage by Phillips, because he wasn't open for the 14-yard gain, or he wasn't open very long. Number 81, he's in the slot. And again, what they're doing is setting up things. They're running some outside routes, and then Gibbons fakes outside and breaks inside. But what they want out of Gibbons tonight is the run after the catch. But when you tackle like that, like Phillips did, no opportunity to.
Houston's first drive of any consequence of the night. Tony Jones wide left. Gibbons in the slot over there. Curtis Duncan to the right. Pickett breaks a tackle. Great effort down close to the 6-yard line. Whoa, what a splendid play by Pinkett.
Yeah, what a splendid block by Mike Munchak, the all-pro guard, number 63, who makes a good block there on the linebacker. And then he comes off and he picks off David Fulcher. Munchak did.
Quick, I got it.
Yeah, I like that. You know, I was talking to one of their coaches and said, hey, Munchak's like a good spaghetti sauce. You can make up for a lot of mistakes.
Like a good spaghetti.
Yeah. You must have had some spaghetti last night. I see it in your shirt.
Pinkett drives ahead inside the 5, and he appears to have a 1st and goal down around the 3-yard line.
You know, this run and shoot is really evolving for Jack Pardee. Remember, he ran it in the USFL. He ran it at the University of Houston, and now he is running it here for his 2nd year with the Oilers. And it's evolving in the sense that they're becoming a possession type of team. They ran the ball very well last week. You're seeing them run the balls with some effectiveness tonight.
Haywood Jeffries back in the game. He's wide left. Curtis Duncan wide right. 1st and goal at the 4. Flags fly. Early movement. Let's see who the guilty party is. Was it David Williams?
False start. Number 73.
It was.
Offense before the snap. 5 yards. First down.
Right side of the offensive line, number 73, and you know, it is kind of loud in here. This is what Sam Weish was talking about this week. We wanted to get done was the crowd get pumped up, particularly difficult down there in an end zone.
So it's first and goal from the, well, we'll call it the 8-yard line.
Good call.
Thank you. Pinkett still the sole running back. Pinkett, nowhere to go. Got perhaps a yard, no more than that. James Francis and David Fulcher on the stop.
That was a nice read by David Fulcher, because he had to fight through an awful lot of traffic. You know, there's a lot of big bodies in front of him. Yes, he's got Pinkett one-on-one, but to get there, he's got to fight through 4 or 5 bodies to make a play like he did.
Ball is still at the 8-yard line. Second and goal. 8:35 left in our first half. Pat Hayden, Skip Carey with you. Draw. Pinkett. 5-yard line, no more. Natu Tuatagaloa made the stop. Premry in there as well.
You know, this was an audible, and it was a shaky handoff, because I think there was some miscommunication. I think Pinkett thought he was going to get a toss, but Moon handed it to him. But it was awfully loud. You saw receivers touching their helmets, which meant it was an audible, and Pinkett didn't quite pick it up.
And you can see the lineman looking back, the offensive lineman wondering where the running back was. It took it a long time to develop. Third down from the 6. He'll throw for it. Diving, but short of a touchdown. Moon, as you see, wound up on the deck. He's short of the goal line.
There has been some good defense played tonight by defensive backs. There's a pretty good rush from the backside, too, I think, on Warren Moon. That ball may have been tipped, and he threw it awfully low.
Pinkett, the receiver, but well short. And Ian Houfield, who's been cut by 6 different NFL teams and has won a job here, will attempt a field goal from 19 yards.
He was playing semi-pro ball last year, I think.
He splits them, and first blood is drawn by Houston, and the Oilers lead 3-0. Back to Riverfront Stadium right after this. 53 yards. It took 9:19, and the Oilers have scored first. Lynn James, Mitchell Price, the deep men. Outfield will pick it away. Pretty good kick. Ball at the goal line. Shy of the 20 before he is racked up.
Flag on the 40-yard line here, Skip. You know, you and I were watching, I know, the Giant game today, Ram game, but the Rams, I thought, won that game on special teams, quite honestly. Two punts down inside the 5. And special teams, like his kickoff coverage teams, can win a ball game for you.
Speaking of the Rams and Saints next Sunday night from New Orleans. Low line drive this time. Skips around. Eric Ball has it. And a much better return this time. Out to the 30-yard line. Darrell Lewis, who was penalized for being offside, made the stop. We have 6:33 remaining in the first half of the game. Back after this word from 3 remaining in the half. What a difference a week makes. Last week, Cincinnati rushing on first down. Average 1.8 yards a rush. Tonight, 7.6 yards a rush, but they're losing.
Yeah, but, you know, 7.6 yards a rush, you would think it sets up a great play-action situation for the Bengals. Nobody does it as well as the Bengals, yet we have not seen the play-action pass out of them tonight.
James Brooks is the setback as the Bengals go to work. Straight ahead and got about 7.6 yards again. Al Smith on the stop, but a good game nonetheless.
You know, no matter what the circumstance, the game, the score, the time of the season, James Brooks is going to keep coming at you. I mean, he plays the game like he's a rookie trying to make the squad. And here he is in his 12th season. 9 carries, 59 yards for Brooks.
does it again. And I'll tell you, that threat of the play action has to freeze those linemen and linebackers for a split second.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And actually, Sam Wyche's play action takes it one step further. They don't just freeze linebackers. They got them going in the wrong direction. And there's a big difference.
Didn't the Chargers once get rid of Brooks because they thought he was too timid? But people have made that decision aren't there anymore either.
He's run about 7,000 yards or so since then.
3rd and 1. Pitch. Brooks gets outside. Does not get the first down. Good defense once again. Bubba McDowell involved, and now flags fly once more after the play is completed.
That's our rookie, Darrell Lewis. Hey, that guy can play for Jerry Glanville. Number 29 left of your screen. Whoops. Wow. Flatten Swai. The PB on the side of his helmet is in memory of Paul Brown.
29 defense.
Offsetting personal fouls, Munoz and
both after the play was
the youngster.
The play counts. 4th down.
So the play counts, and it's 4th down. And the punting team will come in.
Yeah, well, watch for the block punt here. Last time, Bubba McDowell, number 25, came right up the middle, Skip, and nearly blocked the punt. We saw McDowell block a punt in the preseason.
5:22 remaining. Lee Johnson, as you see, will kick it. Curtis Duncan will try to return it. Oh, he gets a fine kick away. Duncan lets it go wisely, and it sails on into the end zone. A touchback, and Houston will have the ball at the 20. A 59-yard kick, but now more problems at the 20-yard line. More shoving and carrying on. The officials restore order. They have their work cut out for them tonight. We'll be back right after this. Drew Hill has been quiet tonight. He goes in motion. Moon will put it up. Whoa, almost intercepted. Intended for Hill. Eric Thomas almost picked one off.
Eric Thomas is the Bengals' best cover guy. And if you're a wide receiver and you come out of the huddle and Eric Thomas is on you, you take it 2 ways. Hey, you're happy to be thought of as the best wide receiver, but the bad news is you may not be open too much.
Tell you what, another guy who's having a good game to this point is Rod Jones, and that's good because he really got victimized by some bad officiating a week ago.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, he did.
That's Ernest Gibbons in motion. Oh, Fulcher almost picked it up. So Moon has been a little shaky on his last 2 throws.
You know, you could see, it almost sense from talking with David Fulcher yesterday and the kind of preparation that he was getting himself into, that he was going to play well tonight. I mean, the guy was incredibly focused, knew exactly what he wanted to do on the run defense, and there he makes a play in pass defense. But he's playing close to the line of scrimmage tonight. A week ago against Denver, he was back in deep coverage.
3rd and 10. Listen to this crowd. For Jeffries, yes. Inside the 40-yard line, Haywood Jeffries with a great catch. Rod Jones and Ricky Dixon on the coverage. 43-yard completion. That quiets him down.
Outside guy number 84, top of the screen. Again, one-on-one, mano-a-mano all over the field. And Haywood Jeffries, I think, is at his best when the ball is in the air. He has the ability to go up and make a adjust, slow down when he has to, turn his body. It all starts with pass protection, and Moon got beautiful pass protection there. Underthrew some wide receivers last week, but that ball was pretty well thrown.
I jinxed Rod Jones, didn't I?
You sure did.
First down, 38. Jeffries again out of bounds. And again, good for a first down. And again, Rod Jones is on the coverage. Now let's take a look at tonight's U.S. Marine Corps scoreboard. Whoa, what a day Jim Kelly and the Bills had. That was a close game late, too.
How about Don Beebe? I think he had 4 touchdown catches.
Browns get their first win. Patriots their first loss. Raiders beat the Broncos. Seahawks a winner over the Jets. Here it's 1st and 10 at the 27.
See the hand signals up by the helmets? That's an off.
Pickett, nothing there. David Grant got to him.
Oh, boy, did David Grant get to him. David Grant has played against the run and shoot, Skip, awfully well. David Grant is a guy that Sam Weish was saying yesterday, this guy doesn't get fooled in the run and shoot. He stops the run. You're not going to run too many draw plays past David Grant.
Skip McClendon checks into the game to give Grant a blow. 2nd and 10. Down to 2:55 left in our first half. For Drew Hill, he couldn't get there. Eric Thomas again on the coverage.
Yeah, just superb coverage all evening, I think, by these Bengal defensive backs. But you know, as you watch Warren Moon, the way his defense is playing, unlike a year ago, you know, you can afford to have an off night. That's what a good defense affords a quarterback the luxury of having an off night.
Third and 10. Again, a possession play. Jeffries to the left. Duncan to the right. Hill in the slot. Now in motion. A dive and a great catch. There's Drew Hill. That's 70 straight games for him. And again, a 3rd down completion of 13 keeps the drive alive.
You're right. That is 5 of the last 6 third downs they have completed. And again, a nice adjustment by Drew Hill. You think of him as a speed receiver, a guy with a burst. But again, he makes a nice adjustment to a ball thrown behind him and low. But you know, people said the run and shoot, you couldn't control the ball, you couldn't control the clock. Well, they have done it this year, and last year they were the best in the league in 3rd down conversions. You'd think we would have a little bit different score than the 3-0 score we have now with the Oilers leading the Bengals. But you know, I think it's kind of encouraging. I think Sam Weish has to be encouraged about his defense, how well they've played tonight after giving up 45 points last week to Denver.
In this quarter, Houston has possessed the ball 11 minutes and 8 seconds. Cincinnati 152.
How do you keep track of that? That's incredible.
I'm just very bright.
Jeez.
1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. He's incomplete, no flag. Rod Jones on the cover.
Boy, I tell you, we have seen some plays tonight. Rod Jones timed this perfectly, because this is a beautifully thrown ball. Doesn't interfere, gets the right hand out there on top and knocks it away.
And went for the ball, so no chance of interference.
You get blasé about how good these guys are, and you shouldn't be, because that is a very difficult play to make.
2nd and 10. Down near the 5-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. He's knocked out of bounds at the 6 by James Francis, the linebacker, and he's a good one out of Baylor in his 2nd year.
Yeah, James Francis, #1 draft pick a year ago out of Baylor. He's one of the guys he looks good in uniform, looks good coming off the bus. I mean, if you're the punter or the quarterback, you want to stand next to him as you come off the bus, because you say, wow, there's an athlete.
Oh. 3rd and 4 from the 7. Another 3rd down play. Can they convert again? Again, Moon could not find the receivers he wanted to hit.
Yeah, well, you're right. When you have that much time and you can't deliver the ball downfield, it means the defensive backfield is doing something right.
Tim Krumrie got out there and made the play. Timeout called here. 4th down, a yard to go. The ball is on the 4-yard line. We'll be back to see what Houston decides to do here right after this. Field will try to kick the field goal, a 21-yarder. He made one from 19. Outfield has been cut by San Diego, Phoenix, the Rams, Miami, Seattle, and Denver. But he's 2 out of 2 here tonight. He's done a good job since.
Obviously, but the Rams ran their football very well against the Giants today. The Giants clearly run the ball well. You're just seeing a lot more teams trying to run the football.
Establish the old running game.
Yeah. You just make that up by
no, yeah. So I don't think I was first for that. Outfield will kick it up. Ball will field it on the 5. What an athletic move there, but it didn't do him much good, and he's quickly knocked down. Dean Steinkuhler, the veteran tackle, made the stop. Cincinnati's run just 3 plays in this quarter, but they'll have the ball now.
This guy is a fullback, but he's a fullback with some athleticism. He can do a lot of things for this team. Now, Boomer Esiason has 3 timeouts, remaining plenty of time to attempt at least a field goal.
McGee and Barber wide left. Lynn James split to the right. Eddie Brown and Wilson out of the shotgun. Low outside, intended for Eddie Brown. Darrell Lewis on the coverage.
They need about 41 yards, really 41 yards to get Breach in range to attempt a field goal. Again, 2 timeouts remaining for Boomer with the 40 seconds. 3 timeouts.
He's got time. He's got a man. It's Barber. And out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Chris Dishman chased him out, stops the clock with 33 seconds left, as you see.
If you're just thinking about 30 yards, 35 yards, which Boomer is, you know, he's very calm, very patient, runs this situation very well. There's a difference between a hurry-up offense and their no huddle. Can make the first guy miss, but the thing about Eddie Brown, he is such a threat after the catch because he can make a lot of guys miss because of plays like this.
And Pat Lee Williams came within an eyelash of a sack. 42-yard pickup. You see the time remaining. One of those tonight. Looked like Childress got it.
It was. And here's the guy, Ray Childress, who has made the Pro Bowls, defensive end, defensive tackle. You don't have to worry about Ray Childress on Sunday because no matter it's the first play or the last, you're going to get the same kind of effort from Ray Childress.
19 seconds left, 2nd and 10. Jackson there covering.
They're just trying to give Eddie Brown a chance to run with the catch. A little, very conservative type of throw, a 5-yard route, hoping that he's going to turn it up. And Sam Weish was saying yesterday, we have to get the ball to Eddie Brown more tonight than we did against Denver.
And Houston has 4 rookies in their defensive secondary, or on their team that play in the defensive secondary, all high draft picks. Third and 10. Trips left. 17-yard line. Among those on the stop, Bo Orlando and Bubba McDowell.
People will complain about the call, but I liked it, quite honestly. Didn't pick up the first, but I like the call. As a spread-out offense, you got 6 defensive backs in, and you give it to a guy as determined as James Brooks, your odds are pretty good. They get stopped, but I think it's a pretty good call.
And they call timeout with 3 seconds left to get Breach into the game to try to make it 6-3 as we head to intermission. It's 4th and 5 at the 17. The one big play to Brown sets up this field goal. Other than that, Cincinnati, since that first drive, has really shut them down. Breach just 5'6". He's out of Cal.
Yeah, well, the good news for both these coaches in the first half is they've got to be very, very pleased with their defense. As we said, they came into the 1991 season with that a big, big question mark.
34-yard field goal try. It's still loose, still bouncing around. The half comes to a close and another flag flies, so let's wait just a second.
It was Sean Jones who blocked the kick, though.
The Oilers are headed off the field, but now they stop. Let's see what's what.
There's no foul. He batted the ball backwards.
Half can't in on a defensive penalty.
There is no foul. The half is over.
They pick up the flag, and the half comes to a close.
Sean Jones, all 6'7" of him, Skip, number 96, right there in the middle of your screen, does a great job of escaping the blocker in front of him and gets both hands on the ball. Well, he went right around. I think it was Bruce Reimers, I believe, to make the play.
So 6-0 is our score at halftime.